Good evening, everyone. My name is Lian Emerlida, and I will be your reporter for this topic called The Background of El Filibusterismo. Now, we all know that El Filibusterismo is the second novel made by Jose Rizal, and it was the first book, of course, the No Limitang Here. Now, here are some I googled and researched about the background of El Filibusterismo. On September 18, 1891, the second novel of Dr. Rizal, El Filibusterismo, or also known by its alternative English title called The Reign of Greed. It was written in Spanish and sequel to No Limitang Here that was published in Ghent, Belgium. Now Rizal, who began writing El Filibusterismo in October 1887 in Calamba, Laguna, he revised some chapters while he was in London and completed the book on March 29, 1891. Now, correct me if I'm mistaken, it was mentioned at sa second assignment about the where when public where was the when were published the No Limitang Here or El Filibusterismo. Now, third is Rizal wrote El Filibusterismo in dedication to the three martyred priests who are Mariana Gomez, Jose Burgos, and Jacinto Zamora, or also known as Comboza. He expressing conviction that their treatment and deaths at the hands of the Spanish authorities was unjust. It was biased, full of it was not based on the true sa totoong ginawa ng mga priest sa mga father na ito. Now, plots are poles apart compared with No Limitang Here, where people were encouraged to ask and aspire for change and liberation. In El Filibusterismo, Rizal urged the society to open its eyes to reality and rebel against the Spanish government for its oppression and abuse. Now, the novel, along with its predecessor, was banned in some parts of the Philippines as a result of the portrayals of the Spanish government's abuses and corruption. This novel, El Filibusterismo and No Limitang Here, along with Rizal's involvement in organizations that aimed to address and reform the Spanish system and its issues, led to Rizal's exile to the Dapitan and eventual execution. But both novel of Rizal are now considered as the Rizal's literary masterpiece. We all know naman na No Limitang Here and El Filibusterismo was already discussed way back in our high school days. Na story na natin yan way back. Now last is in No Limitang Here, there is aspiration, beauty, romance, and mercy. But in El Filibusterismo, it was opposite to No Limitang Here. Readers will feel is bitterness, hatred, and antipathy. The romance and aspirations are gone. Even the characters' personalities seem to have undergone radical change. Now, both of Rizal's novels had a profound effect on Philippine society in terms of views about national identity, the Catholic faith and its influence on the Filipinos' choice, and the government's issues in corruption, abuse of power, and discrimination, and on a large scale, the issues related to the effect of colonization on people's lives and the cause of independence. Now, both No Limitang and El Filibusterismo became the inspiration to start the Philippine Revolution. Now we are now the Filipinos before um, na-experience nila yung higpit pananakit sa pang-aabuso galing sa mga Spaniards. Now whose Rizal was dedicated and inspired for what he was experienced during his time. So, thank you for listening. That's all.
El Filibusterismo is a second novel written by Jose Rizal as the sequel of No Limitang Here. El Filibusterismo in English, The Reign of Greed. The hero of El Filibusterismo is a rich jeweler named Simeon. He was Crisostomo Ibarra of the Nole, who with Elias helped escape from the pursuing soldier at Laguna de Bay, dug up his buried treasure, and ran away to Cuba, where he became rich and befriended many Spanish officials. After many years, he returned to the Philippines, where he freely moved around. He is a powerful figure not only because he is a rich jeweler, but also because he is a good friend and advisor of the General Gobernador. He returned to take revenge on all misfortunes he had encountered. He took advantage of the corruption and abusive regime of the Spaniards in the Philippines to topple its administrative and create havoc. Havoc means lumikha ng kaguluhan. He wanted to rescue his beloved Maria Clara from the convent and avenge the death of his father, but it was intervened by Basilio, a medical student. In the forest of the Christmas Eve, Basilio recognized the true identity of Simeon when he searched for the gem buried near the grave of her mother named Sisa. Bago mag-rescue kay Maria Clara, si Basilio ay nakarating sa San Diego upang dalawin ang yumaon niyang ina sa libingan ng mga Ibarra. Di inaasahang nakita niya si Simeon na nakikilalang si Crisostomo Ibarra na ngayon nagkunwari. Tinangka ni Ibarra na patayin si Basilio, ngunit nagdesisyon siya na samahin si Basilio sa layuning maghiganti sa mga Kastila. Tinanggihan ito ng binata dahil siya ay nag-aaral pa lamang ng medikal na kurso. Nagpatuloy si Simeon sa balak niyang paghiganti sa pamamagitan ng pakikipagsanib niya sa negosyo ni Don Tomio Pilais, ang ama ni Juanito, na ipinagkasundo na ipakasal kay Paulita Gomez na ang ninong ay ang Kapitan General. Simeon had the opportunity to implement his revenge by a bomb planted in a lampshade. Pero nabigo si Simeon sa balak niya dahil biglang inagaw ni Isagani at hinagis ang lampara sa ilog. Pumunta si Simeon sa bahay ni Padre Florentino, uminom siya ng lason at pinagtapat niya ang buong katauhan sa pare para hindi na siya aabuting buhay. Namatay si Simeon pagkatapos ng umpisal, itinapon ni Padre Florentino ang naiwang alahas ni Simeon.
Good evening, guys. My topic to be discussed today is the continuation of the second novel of Jose Rizal, which is the sequel of the No Limitang Here, El Filibusterismo, about nationalist and revolution. The second novel of Rizal was different from the prequel, for it emphasizes the ideology principles that a true Filipino should have. That is the intense love for the country. Nationalism might be easily perceived as an act of loving one's country and nationality. an act of loving your own country and its principles. In this novel, Jose Rizal was beating his hope for the new generation. He referred the youth in his poem, A la Juventud Filipina, as the hope of the nation. He set an example on how to love one's country and principles as he fought for his country until his last breath. Dr. Jose Rizal did perceive to revolt and fight for the country, but in a manner that was different from the other. Common perception of revolution, and that was an act of waging war for freedom, or an act that will result in the death and bloody fights, but for him, a peaceful revolution. We all know that Jose Rizal act his fight for freedom for the Filipinos through his writing, for he believes that bloody fights does result to death, and it is not an ideal way for having revolution.
So, these are the important characters and their roles in El Filibusterismo. Padre Florentino, Isagani's uncle and a retired priest. Florentino was the son of a wealthy and influential Manila family. Simon, Crisostomo Ibarra in disguise. Presumed dead at the end of Noli Me Tangere, Ibarra has returned as the wealthy jeweler Simon. Capitan Tiago, Don Santiago de los Santos, Maria Clara's father, having several landholdings in Pampanga, Binondo, and Laguna, as well as taking ownership of the Ibarra's vast estate. Basilio, son of Sisa. In the events of El Filibusterismo, he is an aspiring and so far successful physician in his last year at university, and was waiting for his license to be released upon his graduation. Maria Clara is the childhood sweetheart and fiancée of Noli Me Tangere, Juan Crisostomo Ibarra, the son of Don Rafael Ibarra. Later in the novel, Maria Clara discovers the truth that Damaso is her biological father. Doña Victorina is a rich Filipina whose source of wealth is unknown. She married Don Tiburcio de Espidana 15 years before the events of El Filibusterismo. Kabisang Tales. He was a sugarcane planter who cleared lands he thought belonged to no one, losing his wife and eldest daughter in the endeavor. Padre Salve. The epilogue of the Nole implies that Salve regularly rapes Maria Clara when he is present at the convent. In El Fili, he is described as her confessor. Isagani, Basilio's friend. He is described as poet, taller, and more robust than Basilio, although younger.